What's going on, boys? Look at the NFL $100 into over $1,300 four-man parlay for you guys for the NFC and AFC championship games tomorrow. Of course, before we get to those picks, though, if you boys could please drop a like and subscribe, that would help me out a ton. It takes you guys like 2 seconds to go drop that like and subscribe. And it does help me out a lot. I put a lot of time into these videos for you guys, and those likes and subscribes do help me out a bunch. Obviously, got a lot of green on our screen right in front of us right here. These are our YouTube picks, and a little bit of what we've been doing in VIP in the NFL playoffs as a whole. Can't even fit all this green on my screen, boys. And what you guys are looking at right here is 24-5. Counted a couple times. I'm pretty sure that count is correct. But 24-5, that is obviously an insane record. We have gone 3-1 in every single YouTube video for the playoffs so far. So we are hitting 75% of our plays. The only one that we had a 2-man and not a 4-man on was, of course, that Steelers versus Texans game in the wild card round. We went 1-1 on that, missing by 0.5 on Aaron Rodgers. That sucked. But overall, we've got a really, really good record in the NFL playoffs going right now. So I will keep that going, I promise you guys. But before we hop over to Prizepicks, to talk about some of those lines, did want to talk to you guys about chalkboard, parlay, play, and sleeper. Of course, it is the NFL playoffs. College football playoffs just ended. There's a ton of stuff that a lot of people are betting on right now, obviously. And I will say, in this really big betting time, especially with Super Bowl coming up and all that, you guys should not be betting your own money. If you guys are placing your own money on these bets, you're doing it all wrong. You guys get $100 for completely free from all three of these apps with their 100% deposit match up to $100 when you sign up with code SBL on Chalkboard, Parlay, Play, or Sleeper. That is $100 per app that you guys can claim for completely free. Again, you guys should not be putting your own money on these bets. You get $300 for completely free if you sign up for these three apps. It is the best way to get money. It is the best way to place down money without worrying too much about it. Because at the end of the day, if you guys place money with or place bets with this deposit match money, if you guys lose, that's nothing out of your pocket. You guys just lost $0. But if you guys win, that is a lot of money straight into your account. But of course, the deposit matches are not the only thing these apps are giving you guys. Over on Chalkboard, you guys get one exclusive free pick with that deposit match. You guys also get this. This is their promo page, 10 to 12 promos for every single sport, every single day, no matter what you guys like to bet on. If it's in season, they will have promos for it. They'll have slash lines, boosted payouts, all that great stuff that makes betting super, super fun and easy. Over on Parlay Play, you guys get a $5 free game at signup. That $5 free game does not require a deposit whatsoever, hence why it says free game. You guys get it no matter what you put into the app at signup. And this is how they do their payouts over on Parlay Play. Anything over a 2-man is a 5% payout boost. So 3-man, 5% boost. 4-man, 10% boost. I think I just tripped over my words. It's not a 5% boost for all of them. Of course, every pick over a 2-man, you guys get an extra 5 on top of that. So it stacks really, really high. Those payouts over on Parlay Play get super, super high. I'll show you the difference between the payouts over on Prizepicks and Parlay Play for the same exact lay I'm about to give you guys in just a second. Of course, Sleeper is the last one. You guys get a free $20 entry over on Sleeper. No deposit required for that one either. So same exact deal as Parlay Play, but it's a $20 free entry instead of $5. That is a great deal. Obviously, as far as where these apps will work for you guys, any of the yellow states on this Parlay Play map right here will, of course, work for Parlay Play, and then any of the green states over here on this Chalkboard map will work for Chalkboard or Sleeper. This map will go for both those two. So again, green states, Chalkboard, Sleeper. Yellow states, Parlay Play will work for you guys. Again, my Parlay Play is still acting up. It's been like all week with this. I apologize, but this is just how I'm going to have to show you guys the payout difference. You guys make an extra $300 over here on Parlay Play. Of course, this 4-man will be paying or I should say $1,000 over on Prizepicks. You guys are making an extra $300 over here on Parlay Play with that percentage boost that they give you guys. On top of that, even without that percentage boost, this is still over an 11x play. So even before that percentage boost, the payouts are already really, really good, paying out an extra over $100 on a $100 bet on this exact 4-man. But with that being said, we can hop over to Prizepicks, talk about some of these games. Obviously, we're just going to go in order here. That Pats versus Broncos game is going to be first. Super, super bummed out about that Bo Nix injury. Obviously, this is, or I should say was, one of the most anticipated games of the entire season, at least for me. I would have loved to see these two teams play fully healthy, but of course, unfortunately, that's not the case. Our first pick is going to be Drake May over 1.5 passing touchdowns. However, obviously, yes, Denver has an amazing passing defense. There's no doubt about that. But Drake May just lit up Houston's defense, which is, I mean, far and away the best defense in the entire NFL this season. I don't think that's even really a debate. Maybe the Seahawks can make a case for that. But as far as full defense goes, no one is better than the Houston Texans. And he put up 3 passing touchdowns against them in the snow. Obviously, weather might be a little bit of a concern with this game as well. But overall, I mean, Drake May showed us last week. Weather's not an issue for him at all. In the snow, he's throwing 3 touchdowns against the best defense in the league, one of the best defenses we've seen in a few years now, in my opinion, at least. So weather's not going to be an issue for this guy. If it's completely sunny, he's fine. Obviously, if it's snowing, he's fine. Raining, he's fine. I don't care about the weather in this game. Drake May can do it in any condition. He's showed us that time and time again. Obviously, had a pretty rough game against the Chargers, all things considered, in that first round. But again, not too worried about that. I mean, it's only his second year, and that was his first ever playoff game. So obviously, jitters are there. A little bit nervous. I'm totally cool with that. But I mean, we're really looking at that Houston performance. That was a great game from him. Obviously, throwing a ton of touchdowns the entire season. He's got like 35 on the season now, I think. But again, really good numbers from a very, very deserving MVP candidate right there. Absolutely love it. But our pick for Denver now is going to be RJ Harvey. We're taking him over 3 receptions. As I said earlier, Bo Nix is out, as most of you already know. Bo Nix is out. They're starting Jarrett Stidham. Personally, I'm a Raiders fan, so I've been watching Jarrett Stidham for a few years now. Watched him play with the Raiders. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. I don't think that he's going to play nearly as bad as a lot of people think he will. I think he will be perfectly fine. However, he is a backup quarterback in his first start in a couple of years now, so he's going to play the check down game quite a bit in this, as most backup quarterbacks do in this league. They like to play the check down game. Offensive coordinators, when they have that backup quarterback in, they like to throw a lot of screens, a lot of stuff like that. RJ Harvey just catches a ton of passes in general, so I think that this should be a very, very good matchup for him as far as receiving the ball goes, especially with, I mean, how New England's passing or pass rush played against Houston last week. This one should be a no-brainer. Of course, Denver does have one of the better O-lines in the league. They have 2 All-Pros in their O-line. So it's not going to be quite as much pressure on Stidham as they had against C.J. Stroud last week. But again, I do think they're going to play the check down game quite a bit. And on top of that, Jarrett Stidham in his 4 career starts, the running back has gotten at least 3 or more receptions in all of those games. I shouldn't say the running back, but running backs in general with Jarrett Stidham starting have had 3+ receptions in every single game that he's started. So he likes to throw to running backs already. Again, hasn't played a game in a couple of years now, but I think it's going to be the same kind of situation. I don't think he's really going to shy away from what he would normally do anyways. So RJ Harvey over 3 receptions. Absolutely love it. Now we are getting over to the better of the 2 games, in my opinion. Matthew Stafford versus Sam Darnold. That's really not one anyone would expect in the last, like, if you told me 5 years ago Sam Darnold and Matthew Stafford would be playing against each other in the NFC Championship, I would have called you absolutely crazy, but that is the case. I'm super, super stoked for this game. Obviously, both the games that the Rams and the Seahawks have given us this season have been absolutely outstanding. With that being said, our pick for the Rams is going to be Matthew Stafford over 16.5 fantasy score. This one's just very, very easy, fellas. Obviously, Matthew Stafford has hit this the vast, vast majority of all of his games this season. Yes, had a tough game last week against the Bears, but that was in the snow. Obviously, Matthew Stafford's not new to playing in the snow, but he's got a lot of guys that don't really play in the snow that often or haven't in their NFL career. Obviously, Puka is one of those guys. Devontae Adams is very, very very used to the snow as well, used to obviously playing in Green Bay for so many years. But of course, Matthew Stafford over 16.5 fantasy score. I think this is like criminally low. Yes, Seattle, again, as I said earlier, has one of the better defenses in the league at this point in the season. I mean, they are just absolutely outstanding. Their performance they put up against Seattle last week was amazing, or not Seattle, the Niners last week was amazing, obviously, but again, I think 16.5 is just way too low for such a talented quarterback. I mean, in my opinion, he should be the standalone MVP. I think that he is, I mean, Drake May has had an amazing season, don't get me wrong, but I think that Matthew Stafford just played the best out of any QB. I will say one of the contributing factors to his bad performance in Chicago was the fact he didn't have, I don't think he had any passing touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. Kyren Williams did have 2 rushing touchdowns because of how bad that Bears rush defense is. Obviously, Seattle is not the case. Seattle has one of the better rushing defenses in the entire league. So I see them passing a lot more. Obviously, I mean, he's thrown a ton of touchdowns against Seattle this season, a ton of yards in this Seattle game right here. He had like 400 yards and like 3 touchdowns or something crazy. So again, Matthew Stafford over 16.5 fantasy score. That one should be an absolute cakewalk for us. Assuming this game goes how the other 2 games went, which I mean, I can't imagine that it would go any differently considering we already seen it 2 times. It's gone down pretty much the same both times. But our final pick of the day is going to be Kenneth Walker. We're taking him over his longest rush at 17.5. I really, really like this. Obviously, he's played 18 games at this point in the season. He's hit this exactly half of the time. Now, I should say that's not exactly super impressive or anything, but with the fact he's splitting carries with Charbonnet the entire season, he's got a lot less attempts at getting this longest rush per game than the typical bell cow running back where they're not splitting any carries or anything. So I think that half the games is more than acceptable in this scenario, especially when you factor in the point that he has hit this both times he's played the Rams. Obviously, you guys can see it right here. 55 in the last game he played against the Rams. In their first matchup of the season, he had a 25-yard rush. So he's hit this both times against the Rams this season. Again, he's already hit it half of the games this season. Just coming off of 2 really, really great games against the Niners back to back. So in a game where he's really their only running back, where I could see him getting 18, 19, maybe even 20 carries, depending on how that Rams rushing defense plays. I think that 17.5 longest rush, he's going to have more than enough attempts to try and get this line. So I think that he can get a longest rush of 18 yards. I think that one will be pretty easy for us right there. But as I said earlier in the video, $100 only gets you 1,000 over here on Prizepicks. They are screwing you guys. I will pop over here and show you guys this like full breakdown really quickly here. So we got Matthew Stafford, of course, over his fantasy score. If I can get this highlight to go away, over his fantasy score at 16.5, same exact line. All of these lines are going to be virtually the exact same. I'm just going to pop straight over here to RJ Harvey. We're going to take his receptions at 3.5. This is 0.5 higher, but again, guys, if we want him to hit over on Prizepicks, he needs 4 anyways. So Prizepicks just kind of gives us the option to tie, but I don't know about you guys. I want to make some real money here, so I don't really care about a tie. I want him to hit. So if he's going to hit on Prizepicks, he's going to hit over here as well. So can't really complain about that 0.5 too much. And then, of course, Kenneth Walker, we got him over his longest rush, which should be right here. 17.5, same exact line for him as well. And then, of course, Drake May is going to be the last one at 1.5 passing touchdowns, which is right here. This will get you guys a payout of $1,306. Again, as I said earlier, you guys are already getting an extra $187 on the dot before this percentage boost that Parlay Play gives you even takes place. So you guys are already making a boatload of extra money over here on Parlay Play. And then you add that percentage boost on top of it, and you guys are making a hell of a lot more over here than you would on Prizepicks. Prizepicks is not paying you guys what you deserve. At the end of the day, a gamble is risking your hard-earned money. If you guys are going to risk your hard-earned money, you want to get paid what you deserve to get paid. So I think that 1,300 number right there is absolutely perfect. That's what we should be making on a bet like this. So again, Prizepicks, not worth putting your money in there. I understand their user interface is a lot better. So I recommend do what I do. Go find your picks over on Prizepicks. Looking at stats, everything is a lot easier. Obviously, this yellow and white is not super easy to look at. A little bit of contrast there, but go find your picks on Prizepicks. Take it over here to Parlay Play and throw it in. Even if you guys want to go find your picks on Sleeper, Chalkboard, Underdog, whatever you guys want to find, totally fine. I don't really care, but I will always recommend throw it in on Parlay Play. You guys are going to make way more money over here than any other app, as I've already said. But with that being said, that's really all I've got for you guys today. So I'm going to get out of here. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.